Alright, this video is for worksheet 2-4 for the class Discovering Pre-Algebra Part 2. In this video, we're going to be looking about how to get the percent of things by using a proportion in these word problems. So you know the drill. I've set up your proportion for you because that was part of the task. Can you set up that proportion? Except for in number 5 where I felt like it's a reasonable task to say you can use common sense. So go ahead and grade your paper and I am going to get started. Okay, I'm going to assume that you've already graded and I'm going to zoom in and we are going to do this. I'm pretty sure I got to change my pen color. Let's see, yes, still red. All right, so let's take a look at number 1. In the closet, there are 10 shirts and 15 skirts. What percent of the items are shirts? Well, to be able to find the percent, I know that X is my percent amount, but it's always out of a total. Okay, I'm always comparing a part and a total when I'm trying to find percent. And I have no total here, but I could find the total if I just add 10 plus 15, which happens to be 25. So I want to know the percent of skirts, so I need to look at its part next to its total of 25. All right, now this is where I use my opposite operation skills. I do not do cross product because I find it's too complicated whenever we do other things for students to differentiate between what you do in that situation, what you do in other situations. So instead what I'm going to do is opposite operation, which is basically what the trick of cross product is mimicking, but I just feel like it's not worth the headache in the long run. All right, so the 100 is dividing the X. To undo something, you have to do the opposite of it. And what you do to one side, you have to do the other. And we know that the opposite of division is multiplication. Remember, we did all that stuff to discover it in class. And you'll learn it further in part 4 of Discovering Pre-Algebra. You'll be doing a lot more with it. But that's going to leave X by itself. Now to make 100 a fraction, I got to put a 1 underneath, and then it's just multiply across the top and get 1500, multiply across the bottom and get 25. Now I got to see how many times can that 25 go into 1500, and it can go in 6. That's going to give me 150. 0, drop the 0, 25 can go into 0 60 times. Okay, now I made a faux pas. I found the percentage of skirts. It asked for shirts. So I got 60%. Well, the total is only made up of shirts and skirts. So to find shirts, I could take this 60% and subtract it from 100. And I'm going to get the answer of 40, which happens to be the answer on my answer key. Very good. In my pocket, I have 8 quarters and 6 dimes. What percent of coins are dimes? Percent is percent out of the total. The percent total is always 100. Okay, so I'm trying to find this percent. And for the dimes, I know the part is dimes. Don't know my percent part, but I can find the total amount of coins I have by adding 8 plus 6, which gives me 14. I'm going to multiply that 100 on both sides. Okay, put a 1 underneath. That's going to cancel, leaving me just with the unknown percent. And 60 times 100 is 600. 1 times 14 is 14. And now I got to divide those two in order to figure out my total. All right, let's try 3 times. I'm not sure if that's going to be correct. 3, 4. I think that is the furthest. Nope, we can go 4 times. Should have probably done it to the side first, but I didn't. So 4 times would make that 16. 56, drop a 4 and a 0, and maybe 3 times this time. Let's see. A little too much. It's going to have to be 2, which is only 28. Then I'm going to put a decimal and drop a 0. 14 into that. Let's say 9 times. Let's look at 9. Oh, so I know it's 8, actually, because it's just slightly over. It's going to give me 8, and it looks like this one's going to keep going. And in fact, it is. It's going to keep going so much that the next digit is going to be that, which is a 5. And that 5 is going to round the 8 up to the 9. If you gave me 42.85, you're not wrong. And if you kept going out, but I rounded. This is a rounded answer to the tens place. All right, if you took it out further, you're not wrong at all, because I didn't tell you what to round to. On a bookshelf, there are 16 paperback and 20 hardback books. What percent of books are paperback? Well, again, it has to be percent over 100, just like I said up here, and I need a total because 100 is the total percent. So in order to get that, I need to add my hardback books and my paperback books, and I'm going to get 36. Now, I want the percentage of paperback books, which are 16. So that's what I'm going to put as my part. I got to multiply both sides by 100, and I'm going to put that over 1. That's going to give me 1600 over 36 equals x, because these two hundreds are going to cross out. Let's go ahead and divide that. 36 can go into this bad boy. I'm going to guess, let's start off with 5, and then I can go up and down from there. 15, 16, 17, 18. Oh, that's a little too much. Let's go to 4, 12, 16. I was wondering. Let's see, 24, carry the 2. That's going to be 12. That's going to be 14. So that got a little muddy. Little muddy there for a minute. It was touch and go, touch and go. All right. So we get a remainder of 16. Drop the next 0. Oh my goodness, I have a repeater. It's just going to keep being 160. All right. And so the next one's going to be 4. 4 is not going to round the 4 up. It's going to keep it the same. So my percentage is 44.4%. Because I'm putting my percentage over 100, I don't have to worry about moving that decimal, because I'm not going from fraction to decimal to percent. Instead, I'm going straight from fraction to percent. And in that method, you don't need to move the decimal. You only have to do that if you first convert it into the decimal form of the number. All right, the next one. During gym class, there were 7 footballs and 49 tennis balls. What percent of the balls were tennis balls? So I know the part I'm using is 49, but I don't know the total. And to be able to turn it into a percent, I got to have a total. So I'm going to add them. I'm going to get 56 as my total. Don't know my percent, but I know that the total amount of percentage is 100. And to be able to solve this, I need to multiply by 100 because that's the opposite operation of the division. Okay, going to put it over 1 and multiply across the top. All right, and now I'm going to divide them. It's going to get a little messy. Okay, so I'm thinking 9 times. Let's see. 9 times 6 is 54. This is probably too much. Well, I should have done it over here first. 54, 45, 50. Yep, it's just a little too much. Let's go down to 8. I try not to look at the answer, because I want to see what the most common mistakes would be. Because I'm not infallible. I make mistakes just like everybody else. I like to see what those mistakes are going to be. All right, so still 8's going to be too high. Let's do 7. I'm writing over stuff. Oh well, I ran out of room. 28. I'm going to put a decimal point and a 0, and I'm going to see how far out I can get. Oh man, I'm going to have to go even further down. I'm going to say 5. Let's try 5. Oh, that's perfect. All right, so it ends right there. It ends right there. So it's 87.5%. It takes you 3 hours to read 82 pages in your novel. At this rate, how many pages per hour do you read? Well, I can make a unit rate out of this. Remember how to do a unit rate? We usually did it with prices, but it's just making the bottom one. All right? And that's just dividing them. Another way I could look at it is I can read 82 pages in 3 hours. How many can I do in 1 hour? And set up my proportion like this. That means I'm going to multiply my 1 on both sides. I'm still going to end up with 82 over 3 equals x and have to divide those two. Now 3 can go into 8 a good 2 times, leaving me with a 2. Drop down that. And we are going to have a repeating 0. Just going to be 333 into the future. So I can read 27.3, 27 and a third of a page, and 3/10 of a page per hour. Okay. All right, so let's go on to the next one. Oh, wait, there's a B. If you maintain the same rate, how many pages can you read in 9 hours? Well, now my rate is 27.3 per 1 hour, and I want to know how much it will be for 9 hours. Well, that means I'm going to multiply 9 on both sides. And I'm going to do this one on the calculator because I'm running out of room. 27.3 times 9 is going to be 245.7, which I can round out up, and I did, to 246 pages. Now, how many can you read in 2 hours? Same process. I have my unit rate of 27.3 in 1 hour, and I need to know how many I can do in 2 hours. So I'm putting my 2 on the bottom because it has to be equal with the hours over here. If I put hours on the bottom of one, I have to have hours on the bottom of the other one. So let's punch in my 27.3 times 2, and I'm going to get 54.6. All right. If you worked 5 hours and make a total of $42.30, use a proportion to determine how much you make in 1 hour. So I know hours is what I'm looking for, right? Or I have it. I have per 1. So I'm going to put hours on the bottom. 5 hours. I'm going to compare hours. Remember, these proportions just compare things. I'm going to compare money to hours. So 42.30 over 5 hours is equal to, I don't know how much in 1 hour. So I'm just going to multiply both sides by my 1. Doesn't really change much. I'm still going to have 42.30 over 5 equals x. Okay, so let's go ahead. For the sake of room, I'm going to go ahead and divide those in my calculator, and it's going to come out to $8.46 per hour. That's how much I make per hour. 2 more, and I got all this room on the bottom this time. The currency in Sweden, in the kronor or whatever, the exchange, let me actually look that up so I say it right. I must have spelled that wrong or something because it's not coming up. But anyway, the rate exchange, money per the Swedish rate currency exchange, if I'm going to set up my proportion with money on top and the Sweden exchange on the bottom, my first one is going to be $1 is proportionate with 7 of the Sweden currency. All right, now I want to know how many dollars would you get if I had this much of the Sweden currency. So because my Swedish currency is on the bottom, I'm going to put the 14 on the bottom, and now I'm going to search for what x is. Okay, the opposite operation of 14 dividing the x is the multiplication. Gotta be fair because there's that equality symbol, and do it to the other side. And now I have 14 times 1, which is 14, and 1 times 7, which is 7, equals x. 7 can go into 14 2 times. Colton bought a can of pineapple chunks for $1.50. How many cans can he buy for $6? So he got 1 can. So 1 can over $1.50. Well, to make this proportionate, I have to put money over here. So I want to know how many I can buy for $6, and I don't know how many cans. So that's my second ratio for my proportion. All right, so the 6 is dividing x, so to undo that, I have to multiply. And it's going to be 6 over 1.40 equals 12. I can do that real quick for you. I got to multiply top and bottom by 100. Okay, so or 10 to get that out. 15 into 60. Well, 15 goes into 60 4 times. So 4 cans. That's all I can buy with my $6 or Colton. All right, very good. Keep doing these till you feel comfortable with them, and I'll see you guys in class. Keep learning, keep discovering.